Line them up, line them up, line them up. Welcome in. Happy Monday. The lawsuits are flowing in against Jackson County after the assessments continue to be completely out of control. And the latest to jump on that bandwagon is the City of Independence. Mike Steinmeyer is on that city council, and he joins us on KCMO Talk Radio. Mike, thanks for being here. This decision I know was not taken lightly by the city council. So why and how did you guys come to the conclusion that a lawsuit against the county is the way to go right now?
Thanks, Pete, for having us this morning. We as a council, we have had multiple meetings just looking at the implications of filing a lawsuit that's really unprecedented against another governing body. But in our discussions, we've been talking about the real concerns, which is, revenue miscalculations, budgetary imbalances, legal implications in doing it. The unforeseen financial challenges are there. And then, of course, the economic impact, not just to our city, but to the state or the county and the state. I mean, this has a wide sweeping effect on anybody that lives in and around the area and in the state, really. So thank goodness we've taken the time. We've kind of moved slow with it, Pete. I've reached out to one of our state reps, Aaron McMullen, just talking with him about what the state can do, might do, and he's been talking with the AG and the state auditor. So we've tried to put all of our ducks in a row, so to speak, before we pull the trigger to move forward.
So what's the end game here? I mean, if Independence residents, who are many, I'm sure, cheering you on in this lawsuit, I mean, you're suing the county. So, for the homeowner or the property owner, what kind of end game can they expect from this lawsuit that benefits them?
Well, first and foremost, we govern at the will of the people. Public trust should always be, as an elected official, they require us to make good informed decisions on behalf of the city that they live in. And so I've heard nothing but praise. Go forward, do this, and help protect our city's interests and our interests. Pete, here's the thing. We've got to set a levy tonight with data that is clearly inaccurate. There's been 52,000 appeals. Approximately 25,500 appeals have yet to be heard countywide. And yet we are required by state law to set our levy by October 1st with numbers that they're going to change, but we have to do it by law. The county has, they have laws that they have to follow, and yet I think they're in violation of a number of state laws. And so I just think that as we move forward, what we need first, we need an injunction by the courts to stop this process so that we can get a handle on, for every municipality, we've got to get a handle on what our economic impact is going to be here moving forward.
Well, I think that's a critically important point that you're mentioning there. You've got tens of thousands of outstanding appeals. You have to set a mill levy rate tonight or by October 1st, and you're meeting tonight, and you don't know what to do because you don't know what the values are of these properties because of all these appeals that are taking place. So what are you going to do tonight when it comes to your levy rate?
Well, we're going to set it based on the data that we have that the county gave us on the 11th. And again, if we don't set it tonight, Pete, I mean, that means the forfeiture of the city's real estate taxes is at play here, and that's about a $6 million general fund revenue hit. And so we're going to set the levy, and of course they say, well, you have the recouping process; it can go out 3 years, but to make these types of mistakes, it creates a lot of hardship. You might have some departments that are properly funded and some that are very underfunded. And these could be the services that our seniors need, the folks that need assistance. Mm-hmm. These are the departments that could be affected by it. And so it weighs heavy on us tonight to do the right thing.
But, the hard part is nobody knows what the right thing is because you don't know what to set the rate at because you don't know how many of these appeals are going to be changed in your own municipality. Right. So,
right.
I mean, you want an injunction on the process by the courts. What's a timeline on that?
Well, and then so my understanding is that when Lee Summit filed their lawsuit, which they have a very different relationship with the county than Independence does, and I think as we move forward, my hope is that other municipalities will join us. They went to a judge to get assigned someone to hear the case. He recused all the Jackson County judges, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And from my understanding, it went to the state Supreme Court for them to assign a judge. So as soon as that happens, I would look forward to seeing an injunction happen relatively soon after a judge is assigned.
Okay. Now, you mentioned some conversations with state lawmakers. I mean, the state just had its veto session last week. I'm not saying that they would call a special, what do they call it, legislative session for this. Right. But, I mean, this is as bad a situation as experts in this field have ever seen in terms of how Jackson County is handling its assessments. Is there any appetite at the state level, as far as you can tell, for them to get involved beyond what the state auditor is doing right now, which is looking into this, which really means nothing for this assessment? It just might help next time around?
Yeah, I spoke with State Representative McMullen end of last week, once we made the decision. And he was communicating a lot of information that I was giving him about what the city had determined. He was sending emails back down to the state auditor and the state AG. I think they were aware, Pete, that this has been a mess. I don't think they understood until he started giving them more information just how deep the concern is. And so I would look for the state to get more involved here fairly soon. I don't know that they'll call a special session, but to have the AG and the state auditor looking at it more closely now and getting more involved can only help us.
Yeah. How about the county? Have you had any conversations, Mike Steinmeyer, individually or as a body, as a city council body, with Frank White, the county executive, Gail McCann-Beatty, who's in charge of the assessment office? Has any of that happened?
We've reached out to I believe I think our legal counselor has sent a letter or has attempted to do so. I have spoken with a few of the state legislators, and they're frustrated. Obviously, the ones who are trying to get our county executive to, I don't know. He just needs to display some leadership, come out and get in front of this. But, sometimes when you elect very unqualified individuals for these types of positions, this is the outcome. And so I think we need the county to own this. And so far, Pete, I haven't seen a lot of willingness to be transparent and own it. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a lot of hope. I think we're forced to go to the courts to look for some relief here because there's going to be damages to every municipality if we don't. So if we have to lead the way, we've determined that if we're the only ones that do this, we're okay with that. We're going to go forward with it.
I got a minute, Mike, but you think other municipalities are going to be joining you here and following?
We've spoken to 4 other municipalities. Of course, Green Valley voted to sue as well. I can't speak for them. I would look for them to join in at some point. We're inviting all the municipalities and we're reaching out to them to be a part of it. And I think, Pete, I think we'll have municipalities that will join in. So.
Good. Well, we'll be following. Thank you so much, Mike Steinmeyer, Independent City Councilman. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate what you do.
All right. Mike Steinmeyer on KCMO.